Hey guys, I'm Heintje, and a couple of years ago I tried to ride the World Cup track in Leogang. Of course I made a video of that experience. Back then I had to walk one section. Well, this year I got a better suited bike and maybe also became a better rider. After I made that video they changed the track, so now it's time to check out the new one and see where I stand compared to the best riders in the world. I hope you enjoy. Before I try to tackle one of the gnarliest trails in the bike park, I'll first have to warm up. The Hangman 1 trail is the ideal warm-up trail for this. It's a medium difficulty technical trail. The numerous roots and rocks are not that easy, but if you stay calm, it's also not that hard. This video was recorded during a week-long vacation back in September. During that week I spent a lot of time sessioning the Hot Shots jump line. Check out that video if you would like to see my progression on that line. What I was trying to say, during the week I started every day with at least one run on this trail. Thankfully we had amazing weather all week. I can only imagine how much harder some sections would be when they're wet. Unfortunately, besides the fun tag, this line also has a couple of very boring sections. It's rough, but not the fun kind of rough, and it lacks any challenge. By the way, they know these parts are boring, but instead of making it more fun, they place signs threatening to confiscate your lift ticket if you shortcut it. Now this line also has a couple of pretty decent features I want to address. First one being a drop, I would say about 1.5 meters high, with a rough run in. It looks kinda scary, but not that hard. It's a low speed drop after all, something I dare to say I'm pretty good at. And yes, turned out it was as easy as it looks on the GoPro footage. Only to be followed up by a gap jump, I did check that one out as well. I'm sure the drop provides more than enough speed. Again, a feature I'm sure is very easy, however, there's a bit of a curve in the line, putting me off, ruining my confidence. TLDR, I did not jump this one. So let's move on to the next feature, or better said, a set of features. Features that are somewhere in the grey area between being a drop or a step down. Anyway, again features I wanted to check out first. They're big enough to have a nasty crash on. Even though crashes provide great content, it's still something I try to prevent as much as possible. Well, it's all about calculated risk. I also want to clear as many features as possible. In other words, time to go for it. That's the first two in the back, both kinda slow drops. Now the third one is hard to judge. It definitely requires a bit more speed, but how much more? And then is the double after it gonna be an issue? After studying it a bit more, I think I have an idea of the needed speed. Time to test my theory. Now one more time and clear the double as well. Being on my own clearly makes these kind of features a lot harder to figure out. Even when you're the one who has to go first, it's really helpful to have some friends around. Same goes for the next section, the super steep optional ending. It starts small with some jumps over drainage ditches. These are also shaped in a way that you can choose how big you want to go. We then have two big gap jumps. Clearing them would be the easiest thing ever. Even though it might not look like it with the GoPro effect, this section is so steep you'll gather so much speed if you let go of the brakes. And that's my issue here. Here I'm really afraid of going way too fast and overshooting the jumps by a light year. Having someone to help me judge the speed would have been great. But let's not dwell on it too much. If you watched my Hot Shots video, you know I've got plenty of airtime this week. So let's not waste any time and move on to the main line of the video, Speedster. This is mostly the line used for the World Cup downhill race, with some alterations. Some to make it a bit safer for the lesser skilled riders, others are made to spice up the race with a bit more line choice. As you already could have seen, the start is completely different. Now you take a bit of a detour to go underneath the road. During the top section there are a lot of options to switch between the race line and the freeride line, whatever you fancy more. The Speedster line is not hard to get down, you can pick lines where everything is rollable. However, this way there isn't much flow in the line. You really need a lot of speed to unlock any flow. After a little while it gets interesting, or should I say steep. This is the section I didn't dare to ride last time. It's hard to judge the grip on the rocks, and back then I had a 24 kilo e-bike. This time the bike gave me a lot more confidence and I made it through in one piece, only to end up in the flow killing 90-degree turn. Now I should go all the way to the inside, however that line looks out of my league, so let's give the middle line a try. This line is a bit harder to execute. Basically the margin for error is smaller, however you keep more flow, so it's a win. About the margin for error, the next run was a lesson in how precise you have to be. Here I ended up on the wrong side of a rock and got to an impossible line, a line that could only end in one way.
Oh shit.
Well, lesson learned. Next is another technical section with multiple lines, varying from easier to faster. Again, I went for an option in the middle. To then end up on the famous motorway section, a high-speed section with very mellow jumps. Mellow, but still very big. Yes, even without the wooden kickers, they are pretty big. Then go through the tunnel without even thinking about braking. If you do, you're not gonna clear the next set of jumps. After the bridge there's a really fun rhythm section. At least not at first. It took me a couple of tries to figure out the rhythm. Only I couldn't figure out the last part. Since it's a World Cup track, there are lots of videos of how it's supposed to be ridden. So let's see how Jackson Goldstone rides this section.
Oh, I love this bit, it's so fun. Feels like on a roller coaster. Wow. Triple, double, triple. Wow. See if I can do the gap or the wall ride.
Triple,
sketchy.
double, triple. Well, I gave it a couple of tries, but I couldn't identify where to take off and land, so I bounced through it. Guess I'm not at the World Cup level. Yet. Same goes for the wall ride. No fucking way I'm gonna jump into that thing. Here the World Cup trail goes left, but let's first check out the old line, the one to the right. Again, a steep section that's okay to get through, again with a line that doesn't give any flow. So that night I did my homework and looked for a better option. That's one advantage of recording all my riding. I think I found a line, so the next day I gave that one a try, a bit tricky but a way better flow. Really cool how critically looking at lines can improve the experience by a lot. However, this doesn't work all the time. Back to the Hangman trail. Here I thought I spotted an optional line, so I gave that one a try as well. Anyway, I was riding Speedster and I'm almost at the bottom. Two more steep and technical sections. While I ride those, let me give a huge thanks to you, watching my videos. I know videos like this don't perform that well, so if you're watching this, you're probably one of my loyal viewers. So yeah, thank you very much. Now it's time to hit the finale of the track, a table jump. A huge table jump. Again a race jump, so it's all distance and no height. All I had to do to clear this jump was not tap the brakes. Something easier said than done. It took me a lot of tries before I dared to not brake. Eventually I cleared it. The biggest jump I've ever done. But how big is it actually? Let's see. I used my Garmin watch to check my speed. I recorded a top speed of 62 km an hour, that's 62,000 meters an hour, or 70.22 meters a second. Now let's time the jump. That's 1 second and 14 frames. With 30 frames a second, that comes down to 1.47 seconds. Let's multiply the 17.22 meters a second with the 1.47 seconds to find out I flew 25.31 meters. Or I could just pass it out, that is, if the landing wasn't too steep to walk on. Anyway, if you would have told me that I would ever jump over 25 meters on a mountain bike, I would have said, no fucking way dude, but here I did. So maybe one day I'll be jumping into that wall ride as well, who knows. Time to go back up the hill and go over Vali's Hölle, the current World Cup track. It starts with a gap jump after the first wall ride. Here I have to repeat myself. Again, I know I can do this jump. I just couldn't find the confidence to commit. It's hard to have to commit to a jump while still being on a wall ride. At one point I think I found the confidence, only to have this happen. Well, next time. Now let's enter the woods. Here it gets steep and technical.
Hallo hé, wat is dit dan?
And then I came to this feature, a double drop, both not rollable, and of course followed up by a 90-degree turn, all three easy on their own, however the combination. One option I see is to go straight and use the roots to make it rollable. This would be very precise however. Let's give it a try. Damn, I see the line too late and it's way too precise for my liking. At some point during the week I did a couple of runs with Angelo, and yeah, he makes it look easy.
Yeah.
For me there's only one option left, and that's the one I'm not proud of. I have to walk the first drop, but maybe I can do the second one. Nope, again one I feel I have to walk. Here I thought I'm a pretty decent rider, still walking parts of a World Cup track. Well, let's see how it's supposed to be done. Show us Jackson.
Gap. Into the right.
Okay, just ride it and then even gap into the corner. Sure. On the motorway and especially on that finish jump, I felt I'm making progress. This shows me I'm clearly still a big noob. Same goes for the rest of the line, steep and technical. At least this part I can ride, only I was going as slow as I could to stay in control, on a track made to go as fast as possible. This brings me to the conclusion of the video. It might look easy when you're watching the racing, riding it yourself is a whole other level. Sure, 99% is perfectly rideable for mere mortals, only you need to be so precise to go for and stay on the faster lines. You would really have to commit to a line and accept the crash if you go offline. However, it's great to spot and try alternative lines, and it's even greater when they work and you get a bit more speed and flow, feeling a tiny bit like a pro. The big gap jump that's in the race is not accessible outside the race, instead you route it into the training area. That's not so interesting, so let's go for the finish jump one more time. And with that I've come to the end of the video. As always, thank you very much for watching, I hope to see you back for my next video, and you know, in the meantime, have fun riding. Houdoe.